Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies, a podcast where we discuss all things related to the Happier and Happier in Hollywood podcasts.
We're sisters
And super fans
who can't get enough happier.
So we created our own podcast to keep the conversation going.
I'm Malika Amandi, a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a new mom, and an entrepreneur. I'm here with my sister, Azizi Williams.
That's me. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a not-so-new mom, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world.
So, Azizi, I heard that you had an eventful week.
I did, Malika. I took part in an unexpected press conference. It was fascinating and exciting, and also there was a little bit of anxiety about is it going to happen or not happen. It involved local officials, including the mayor of Los Angeles, and so there was always a chance that something else would come up or there'd be a bigger news story. So I wasn't sure up until the last minute if it was actually going to go, because then there was rain in the forecast, and it was like, is this going to happen? But it was so exciting. My school basically partnered with the city to help feature their new solar streetlights that they have installed around the neighborhood of my school. And it's a pilot program. It's the first time for the city to have a completely off-the-grid streetlight. So it's really cool, energy saving, sustainable energy, modern kind of streetlight. It was a very exciting thing for the city, and it was fun to be a part of it. The interesting thing about it was to see how a press conference works and what happens behind the scenes. All the news agencies with their cameras and the reporters and questions, then all the people around the local officials and the mayor. And we had a huddle right before we went on.
Ooh, a huddle.
Someone with a clipboard was going over everything. It was very cool.
So last episode, we talked about pick your persona, and you mentioned that sometimes you embody Leslie Knope. And I feel like this would be a Leslie Knope moment from Parks and Rec. Did you feel like Leslie Knope, or was there something else that you embodied?
It was totally Leslie Knope. It was my Leslie Knope moment. It was like peak Leslie Knope. And it was just so surreal to be standing there at the podium behind these officials. I got to speak. I had like 3 minutes where I could share my remarks. And I talked about how wonderful it was to partner with the city and all the things that we do in our neighborhood. And then there were the questions, and it was so cool. And it was something that was very different than what my daily life is like. So that's why I appreciated it. And it was just a happy moment for the school to get to host something like that. So much fun.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And now I have a picture of myself at the podium with other officials around me. I will always treasure that. So Malika, what happened in Happier this week?
So on Happier and More Happier, episode 471, Gretchen and Liz discuss a listener alternative to gold stars, the importance of letting tradition shift. They offer hacks on making the room darker for sleep, and talk to an author named Bradley Tusk. In More Happier, they talked about the joy of the New York subway and the benefits of becoming a minor expert.
I want a badge, Malika.
You deserve a badge. You should get a press conference badge.
Oh my God, a press conference badge. That makes me so happy. I don't know if it's like the overbuyer in me. It's not even buying necessarily, but that was such a cool hack.
Yes. Where would you put your badges?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have to think about it. It would be a place where you would want to see it, like a sash or something, a place on my desk. Maybe I need a special bulletin board. Maybe it goes in my journal, so I always remember that day when I got that badge. I don't know. I have to think about it, but I was a Girl Scout for a very long time.
You were. You got to the highest point of Girl Scouts.
I did. I was a Girl Scout up through high school. I loved every minute of it. I was a Girl Scout leader for 2 years, so maybe that's what it is. It's just my inner Girl Scout. I just want to continue that journey.
I really liked their conversation about evolving a tradition, and it made me think about our holiday tradition as a family. We always open gifts together on Christmas, and then during the pandemic, that turned into opening Christmas presents over Zoom,
Right.
which we did for several years. And then the last year we did it on Zoom, it was just really challenging. I think everybody realized this can't go on.
It was chaos, Malika. Let's just say that. All of the family in California, opening gifts with one camera and TV pointed at poor Malika and Norm and Indigo, who just watching the chaos ensue. I had to call you on the phone just so that you could hear me.
I know.
While it was all happening.
It was like all the elements of Zoom, just so many cross conversations. And I think there were multiple phones, but different angles and no program. It was bad. But the value was still there and the desire to spend some kind of moment together on Christmas. And so this year we evolved it into playing Jackbox games online. So we kind of let go of the presents and found an activity that made sense to do online with different people in different locations and all of that. And it was fun.
It was so much fun. It really worked. And it worked because there are directions to the game. And the game leads you through what to do and how to take turns. And you use your phone as a way to put in your answers. But then there are all these engaging graphics and sounds. It's such a well done platform. Everyone's laughing together and having a good time. So we're not having a conversation, but we're bonding and connecting over Zoom. And I think we really found our new tradition, our new Christmas Day tradition.
I think we could do something. We mentioned this in a previous episode. Like, I think there's a whole other realm of online experiences we could delve into, like an online escape room or something. But I think the key is that we need structure. We need a structured activity to do together.
We need a facilitator who is not any of our family. And we need some sort of interactive experience that we could share. Yeah. You know what we should look into also? Airbnb used to have experiences. I wonder if they still do.
Oh, they totally do. And they still have some online ones. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, we should look into that. And I want to just give like a badge or a gold star to Norm for being the ringleader and hosting the Jackbox games and being basically the AV guy, tech support, so that we could all
Yes.
together. Thank you, Norm, for that.
Thank you, Norm. Azizi, what happened on Happier in Hollywood?
On Happier in Hollywood, episode 355, Sarah and Liz discuss the challenges of getting into flow with work. They unpack social anxiety about attending functions, and Sarah gave an update on her cloffice. I have to say, Malika, I really was there with Liz when she talked about her social anxiety and the challenges of all of the lead up to going to an event and all of the worry about going to an event. And then when you're at the event, sort of really enjoying it. And especially after, being so glad that you were there. But I share that. I really struggle with leading up to a social event and then actually catastrophize things that will happen at the social event. But it's always lovely. And I'm always glad I did it. I can definitely relate to Liz.
How do you manage that?
I really respected that Liz kind of drilled down to what it was for her. For me, part of it is my terrible memory and that I can't remember names. And I'm always worried about, oh, it's going to be embarrassing, or how am I going to remember this person, or who's going to be there that I don't remember. And so that's one of the things. And then I worry that I'm going to say something, the wrong thing somehow. I just get through it by remembering that everyone, or more people than you think, have these same worries and fears.
Yes.
And that it's not just me, and just try to remember the feeling after. It's kind of like exercise. Like, it's so hard to do it, but then you always are grateful that you did. So those are some of the things I remembered. And I think in the pandemic, coming out of it, finding that muscle again has been hard. But yeah, you just keep moving forward.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people experience that from the pandemic. Whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert, just getting out of the sense that you have to go. Right? Because the default was to not do events. And then for so long, it was like if somebody canceled, you were totally given a pass, you know?
Right.
And so then you just get used to like using that. And there's a lot that goes into getting ready to go. And
I think Liz talked about this. I did take one of those introvert extrovert tests. I want to take it again. I'm curious if I get the same answer. And I was kind of right in the middle. I am like right in the middle, introvert extrovert. So I tip either way, and I kind of need equal amounts of time alone as I do with people. And so that's also part of it, is like, I really like my home time and I really like time to myself. But also I just have to remind myself that I also really am social and like to be around people and enjoy that activity. So yeah, it's kudos to Liz for being open and sharing something that can be really vulnerable, because I think many other people will resonate with those challenges.
Yeah. I agree. I really liked hearing about Sarah's cloffice. Every time she's given an update on it, I'm just so impressed and inspired that she took this space and completely transformed it and kind of did the due diligence to actually completely change it into something else. Because I feel like I would just use the closet as an office without actually doing anything.
You would just open up your laptop and like pull in a chair.
Exactly.
Set up like a card table.
There was a space in our old apartment. It was a closet and we kind of converted it. Yeah, it was a cloffice, but it was open. So there was no door. It was like a part of a room, but it was this little niche. And Norm built a shelf or like a platform for a desk. And I got some fun things and it looked so cute. And like once it was done, I never sat there. And I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't really comfortable. Like I put it together, but I didn't have the patience to really make it be a place that I could actually sit for a long time or something. I don't know. But it was exciting and then it was disappointing because I just still preferred to sit on the couch.
It's all about the details. And man, Sarah really drilled down to the details. With her measuring tape, she said exactly how much space she needed for certain things. Yeah, she's doing it the right way. But I do have to say, Malika, regarding your little cottage in Silver Lake, it was amazing what you guys did with like 3 rooms. You had 3 rooms to work with and all the functions were there. And it was the cutest cottage in Silver Lake. I wish you documented and posted it places. It was very inspiring with curtains and changing orientation of things, taking off doors. And, you did a lot with a very little bit of space.
Thank you. I'm proud of that. All right, let's take a break. And when we get back, Azizi will share a shortcut to happy. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready-to-go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family-friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
And we're back with Shortcut to Happy, where we share simple strategies that will make you happier. And the strategies I want to share with you today have to do with the fact that I've been traveling quite a bit over the last year, and I'm learning some things as I travel. So I thought I would share the strategies with you and share some things that I have started to take with me that might be helpful also for you in light of spring break coming up soon. And some of you may have some spring travel in your future. So I want to share a couple of things with you that I've learned on my many trips. And keep in mind that my travel, it's mostly been alone and it's mostly been for work. But I think some of these things you can extend to other kinds of travel as well. So I want to share them with you.
All right. A backpack.
I found a travel backpack that is actually really handy. It's handy for a couple of reasons. One, it is large. It's large enough to fit 2 days worth of clothes and your toiletries and your laptop. And it doesn't look like it's that much bigger. It doesn't look like a big, bulky, like backpacking backpack, but it actually fits underneath the seat and the plane still. It's got lots of cool compartments and it opens up in a way that's easy to pack maybe a pair of shoes and a change of clothes. And then it still has a laptop compartment and compartments for other kinds of things. So I found it on Amazon and I'll put it in the show notes, but I found it really handy to just have that backpack, and it's very forgiving to stuff extra things in there if you need to.
Nice. Does it have the thing that goes over your suitcase?
Oh, 100%. That's a must. So it has a thing that goes over your suitcase. And what I have started to do is I have my regular work backpack and I might pack that in my suitcase, but then bring my travel backpack for the plane. Very handy.
Over the ear noise canceling headphones.
I was skeptical about this because they look kind of ridiculous to me. They're so big and bulky, the over the ear headphones. But you know what? I had to start using them for podcasting. And once I had them, I was like, these actually feel really good. Let me try them on the plane. And it's kind of a game changer. It really filters out a lot of the noise that causes me anxiety. I don't like flying, and noises are part of it. And so having the noise canceling headphones really helps me just tune into whatever I'm listening or watching. And it's kind of comforting. So I'm a fan now. I highly recommend the over the ear noise canceling headphones for the plane.
Snack bars and ginger honey crystals.
I'm borrowing from Sarah and Liz when they went over their travel tips for Puerto Rico. They had a whole segment about bars. And ever since then, do you remember that?
Yeah.
They were talking about how convenient it is when you don't know what's going to be available to you on the other side, or you don't know when it's going to be available to you in terms of food. And so I've started doing that as well. So I always pack bars. My bars of choice are Go Macro because they're vegan and I don't do dairy and I like the texture and flavor, and they pack like indefinitely. You can have them. So I always make sure I have like 3 bars with me on a trip if I'm going to be away just for a couple of days. And it's important to bring them on the plane because you never know how long you're going to be on the plane. Even if it's an hour trip, supposedly, something might happen and now you're sitting on the plane for 3 hours or something on either side. And so it's helped me to know that I have basically a meal if I need it in a pinch. And the same thing is when you get to the destination, oftentimes it's late by the time I get to my hotel and there may not be room service available, or it might not be convenient to go get a meal at that point. And so just knowing that you have a bar with you has been really helpful. And the same with the ginger honey crystals. So these are freeze dried ginger honey crystals in individually packed little tea packs. All you need is water. It could be hot or cold, and you have an instant beverage. And for me, the ginger honey is very soothing. And sometimes when I travel, my stomach gets upset or I'm eating things I don't usually eat. So back at the hotel, just having a pack of this that I can put with hot water or cold water, it's been a game changer. So highly recommend that.
You offered me a bar once that was like chicken.
Oh, yes. Did you like it?
I think I did. It was just so different. I'm used to like the sweet bar,
Yeah.
so to have a savory one, but it was kind of nice. It really did feel more like a meal.
I'm going to tell you, like, I forgot about those. I should pick up a few more. Epic makes chicken sriracha bar. It's like an alternative to beef jerky, and it is delicious. I don't much like the other flavors that they have, but the chicken sriracha, that's a fantastic bar. And I will tell you what I found recently, and I think they have them at Sprouts. I don't know where else they have them, but it's a tamale that doesn't have cheese in it. It's like a vegan tamale, and it is shelf stable. You don't have to heat it up. It really has the tamale flavor and taste. And that's another alternative. So now I have the Go Macro, I have the tamale, and I'll have the Epic chicken bars. And I'm talking a lot about this, but also that's a hack for my work because I don't always know if I'm going to get a lunch break. And so sometimes I can have one of those bars in a pinch and keep moving.
All right, a power strip with multiple plugs.
So I just went away for an overnight to Joshua Tree this weekend, and I didn't bring this with me. And why? It's on my list. Why didn't I bring it? Because when you're at an Airbnb or even at a hotel, you don't always know where the plugs are or how many there will be. And I have a minimum of 3 things to charge a night now. So it's really helpful to just have one of those little power strips that's got like 3 different plugs in it, just because you never know. And sometimes I'm traveling with someone or one of my kids, and maybe they also need a plug, and inevitably someone's asking for a place to plug in. So it takes up almost no space, and I've found it really helpful.
A canvas tote.
So I always pack an empty canvas tote with me because, again, it takes up no space. And I found that on the way back, I always have more than I came with, or somehow the things that I came with no longer fit in the same way. I don't know why this is, but I found that it's easy to just whip out that extra canvas tote and load it up for the plane. And that just makes it less stressful.
Check your bag.
All right. So this one's controversial. I know it's kind of polarizing. I know people go out of their way to not have to check a bag and will stuff things and, pay extra just to be able to bring things onto the plane with them. But hear me out. It's so much more pleasant to not have to haul this huge, heavy bag over your shoulders, pray you don't hit someone on the way up or down, and try to shuffle and reshuffle the things in the overhead compartment. So obviously I'm talking about flying. I have found it so much more pleasant to just check my bag. It's just more pleasant for me. So I recommend it. So I check my bag and then I just have the travel backpack that I carry with me that has everything that I need and my medication or whatever I need for the night. In the event that my baggage gets lost, it's never happened to me personally. It's happened to you, Malika, because I was there with you when it happened. And I have to say the circumstances were exceptional. If there's a last minute change to a flight, that's when things get hairy. But mostly I've had really good experiences with checking my bag and it's not been any issue for me. And I have like the brightest purple bag you've ever seen. So it's really easy to find quickly when it comes out of the chute. But that's my perspective is check your bag. Don't worry about it. Don't go through the hassle of having to check it at the last minute because there wasn't enough space on the plane. All those other things that can happen to you.
I think less is more when you're getting on the plane, for sure. The thing I hate is having the bag that's just so overstuffed that you can't get anything out without having to take everything out. Do you know what I mean?
You're talking about your rolling bag?
Like a backpack, the carry-on.
Right. Yes.
It's got your snack bars, they're in the bottom or something, and you have to take everything out and there's nowhere to put stuff. It's important to thoughtfully pack your bag.
The anatomy of how you pack it and what order is important. And that's why for that travel backpack, my front pouch is all the things that I need to access on the plane. And then the second pouch are things that don't touch, don't even open because it's all going to spill out. But you do have to take extra care in thinking about where you place things and how you place them. I have a theory. I think I overpack. I probably pack for every possible emergency and I don't need to. And I wonder if that has something to do with my overbuying also. Are these related? Overpacking, abundance, overbuying? I don't know. There may be something there. I have to interrogate. So listeners, what are your travel tips and hacks? The weather is warming up. We're getting into spring and then summer. We'd love to hear what you've learned about travel that you think other listeners would appreciate.
I'm especially interested in travel tips and hacks for toddlers.
Okay. I'm not.
I'll put that out there for myself.
I know that's a whole other world. So we should do a segment specifically about travel for toddlers.
I think you were with me before I did a solo trip to Los Angeles. Solo plus 6-month-old baby. I started watching YouTube videos of parents doing this, traveling with their children and breaking down how everything went. And it opened up this whole subculture of YouTube videos to me, which include travel hacks and tips from flight attendants, which is really interesting because they're professional travelers. And so there's videos where they kind of go into detail about the products that they're loving right now and the way that they pack their bags. I could see you getting into it, Azizi.
I will. I should follow up with that in particular because I see them. They're always traveling so light also. So what are the essentials that they have learned that would be helpful?
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Our next segment is Who Am I?, where we ask a question that will help you understand who you are. So over the weekend, I saw the film Perfect Days, which got an Oscar nomination for Best Foreign Film. And the main character in the movie is a toilet cleaner in Tokyo. And throughout the film, you see the ins and outs of his daily routine. And it's a very kind of contemplative story. There's very little dialogue in the whole movie. It was really beautiful. So the main character spends his days going around different public toilets and cleaning them. And then in the evenings, he goes to this neighborhood bathhouse where he kind of washes and does a soak. And then there's a certain bar that he goes to during the week where he has dinner. And then on the weekend, he has another set of places he goes to: the laundromat, the same bookstore, a different bar. And anyway, everywhere that he goes, he's a regular. And you get the sense that he's had this same circuit for years. And it got me thinking about this concept of the third place.
What's the third place?
So the third place, it's a name for the places that we gravitate to that aren't home or work. So there's a lot of sociological scholarship around this, and I have not delved into it, full disclosure, but I will share 5 characteristics of the third place that I found on Wikipedia that resonated with me. So this is not an exhaustive list, but I think you'll get a sense of what it is.
Okay, so neutral ground.
This is a space where nobody has to be there. No one's like tied down or committed to be there because of their finances or their politics or anything like that. It's very much, by definition, a free zone where people can kind of come and go as they please.
Number 2 is leveler, a leveling place.
So I think in third places, there is not a lot of emphasis on your status. Everybody who goes there is kind of just there participating. There's not a lot of exclusivity. It's just like everybody who's here belongs here.
Number 3 are the regulars.
So there are people who are always there or who frequent it. So there's a sense that for some people who come in this place, it is their home. There's the possibility of getting to that level. Even if you aren't a regular, there's a sense that you could be if you just stuck around or came often enough, which I think is kind of nice.
And number 4 is a home away from home.
So this third place has the same feelings of warmth and belonging that you experience at home. When you enter in, you feel like ownership over the place in a certain way, and you feel yourself, and you feel like it's a place where you can recharge or find refuge by being there.
So what's your third place, Malika?
So I'm working on this, but I think the places that have evolved for me here, definitely the YMCA. You can go for a class. I usually go for a specific thing, but you can kind of hang around. And there's Wi-Fi, there's a little lobby. I have done, especially when Indigo was younger, they have childcare there. And so I would go to childcare and then like go to the lobby and just check my email and stuff. There's also a sauna and a steam room. So there's just little amenities and things you could kind of spend time there, which is nice. I think that's another characteristic. I didn't say that, but that you could stay as long as you wanted to. Maybe I did.
It's making me think differently about the YMCA. I sort of associated it with just taking a class or using like the gym equipment, but you make it sound like a hangout spot. And side note, maybe free Wi-Fi needs to be one of the characteristics of the third space.
That is the modern equivalent of come hang out.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would add that to the list.
For sure.
What else?
So there's a coffee shop, a particular coffee shop that I enjoy here. And it's funny because there's a lot of different coffee shops, but it's like this one is just right. It's got like big windows. It's got seating right by the window. If you're not seated by the window, it's got a really big wooden table in the middle. And that's my favorite local coffee shop where I feel like I could go and spend real time there. I always feel a sense of clarity when I leave somehow. The library, I haven't frequented it as much since I started working again full time, but we've talked about that in previous episodes, especially with a baby. That's a great place. And the Co-op, which is a grocery store here that has like a table area with Wi-Fi and outlets.
Is it free?
It is free.
And outlets we can add to the list also.
So, I mean, Norm and I, we've had like meetings there.
So let's be clear, Malika, you and your husband, Norm, have meetings at the Co-op. With each other.
With each other. So that's more of a productive zone than like a relaxing zone, but it is a place where I feel like I could go and spend a good amount of time. That's not work or home. Azizi, do you have a favorite third place right now?
This is really an interesting question. I'm still kind of racking my brain about it. The places that came up right away for me are the Huntington, which I have also talked about quite a bit and is on my list to try to go monthly because I get so much enjoyment out of it. But it's not too far away and it ticks a lot of the boxes, but not all of them, but many of them. I can work there. There's food. There's lovely things to look at. So that's definitely one on my list. And then the other one is Superba Cafe, which It's a chain. There are a few of them in Southern California, but it's one that my girls and I started going to kind of in the pandemic a little bit when things started to open, and it would be completely empty. And we got to know the manager, and now it's really picked up and it's a little more crowded, but it's a very friendly, inviting, open, airy place to get delicious food and coffee. So those are my two places right now that I frequent often. But there's something else when you were describing the movie, the part about being known is the part that I feel like I need to lean into a little bit. And I feel like Gretchen and Liz have had a segment about talking to strangers. And that is something that I think would get even more enjoyment out of these places if I leaned into chatting a little bit more and connecting with the people who work there. So that's something that I'm thinking about for the future and how to get even more enjoyment out of these third places. For my husband, I was thinking about it. My husband, he goes to Ace Hardware every Friday and just kind of wanders around. I mean, I'm imagining because I'm not there with him when he goes, but he tells me about every Friday night. He tells me about his adventure at Ace Hardware, what he saw, what was new, what, maybe he purchased a little something, small purchases like some screws or a new hammer or a knob, but that would definitely be his third place.
That's funny because I think Norm's third place is the thrift store, the furniture thrift store.
That's right.
Which we were frequenting. He kind of stumbled upon it. It's got really irregular hours, so it's only open twice a week in like these 3-hour blocks. But he found it and then kind of befriended the volunteers who work there. And I wouldn't say that he goes every week, but he checks in. He goes enough, and now they know the baby, and we have basically furnished our home from this furniture thrift store. They contact him when there's a piece in they think we would like.
Oh, that's so nice.
I never thought of it as his third place, but I think it is one of those because he goes to check in and see what's up.
And I have to say, he could teach a master class about talking to strangers. It's something that seems to come very easily to him.
Very good at it.
That's really sweet.
So consider for yourself, do I have a third place? And if so, where is it? And we would love to hear about it.
Yeah, maybe there are some places we can add to our list as well. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll do peaks and valleys. Okay, we're back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and valleys. And this is an odd episode. So Malika, you'll do a peak and I'll do a valley.
So my peak is going to the movies this past weekend. As I mentioned, I saw Perfect Days, which I highly recommend. It ended up being like a very Japanese spring movie, which I wasn't even seeking out, but it totally fit into that conversation we had several episodes ago. But what I loved is that it was sold out. The movie theater was packed.
For this foreign film?
Yes. It was a small theater, granted.
Okay.
But it was still that feeling of community and popcorn, and you hear the little sighs and sniffles, not like a cold sniffle, but like somebody being overcome with emotion.
The audible noises from the crowd in reaction to the movie.
You forget how much that actually enhances an experience. It makes it a more transcendent story. And I think because of that, the movie hits differently. It had been a while and it was a good reminder that, yes, go to the movies. If you like movies, go to the theater when you can.
Malika, could that be a third place, the movies?
If it's somewhere you feel safe and that revives you and you have positive associations, it's not at work or home, I don't see why not. I bet it is for a lot of people.
I feel like Aunt Charlene goes like once a month to the same movie theater and sees a matinee. Maybe there are certain conditions where it is.
You know, I'm reminded of the time after graduate school when I moved back home with my parents.
Yeah, as people do.
I think that is a time in my life where I really needed a third place because I was at home, but it wasn't my home anymore. You know, it felt different from when I was younger. And there's a cheap movie theater in Pasadena that's like $2.
The Academy.
I went there like 2 or 3 times a week now that I'm recalling.
Yes.
I totally,
Yeah.
that was my third place. I forgot about that. And I would meet up with people there. Like, let's go see a movie. I went by myself. I saw so many movies.
That theater was my spring break plan for the girls when they were young. That is what we did for spring break. We saw lots of movies at the $2 theater. So yes, I'm putting that on the list, and maybe I need to revisit that place also.
Azizi, what is your valley?
Okay, so my valley is related to my daughter Sinai. She's a junior. We're gearing up for college and for the college application process, which is kind of intense, a little bit grueling, but also very exciting with all the possibilities. This is a valley because, for one, I knew there was a college fair coming up. It was going to be local in Pasadena. It was like the Los Angeles College Fair. Lots and lots of colleges were going to come and present, and you could go to different tables. And I had it on my calendar for late March. And I just kept saying, I'll look at it later. I'll look at it later. Like for months, it's been on my calendar. When I finally went to look at it, it actually was in February. I missed it. It's not coming back again until the fall, which is kind of too late. So we missed this great opportunity. And one, I had it on my calendar wrong, which, could have been for any reason. Why did I wait so long to look into it? As soon as I put it on my calendar, I should have made a point to look into it then. So I made sure I had the details right. And if I had done that, I would have known and we would have gone, but we missed it. So that's one. And then the other college related valley is the return of the SAT, which is just making me so sad. So my daughter and I, we discussed it. And a few months back, we sort of made a plan that we weren't going to take the SAT, that she wouldn't take it because so many schools and colleges didn't require it. And now slowly some schools are coming back to the SAT in a way where it's feeling like, is she going to miss out if she doesn't? And of course, taking the SAT means having to pay for expensive classes and doing a lot of practicing over the summer, which sort of changes the summer. So that's frustrating me. It's the return of the SAT and sort of having some bumpy starts to the beginning of our college journey.
There's a lot to navigate there, a lot of dates.
Yes.
Things to do.
I've done it before because Ilea is happy. She's in college. She's a sophomore, but it was the pandemic and it was completely different. There was no visiting colleges. There was no SAT. It wasn't possible. So in a sense, I'm going through it for the first time now because it was such a different experience when Ilea was going through it. So I have to buckle up and really be on top of things now.
I believe in you. I believe. I believe that you can win. I believe that you can win.
I believe that I can win. I believe that I can win. I believe that I can win. Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I think I'm going to start looking at some YouTube videos of flight attendants packing. Curious about how they pack. Thank you for that idea.
Thanks.
What about you, Malika?
I'm going to investigate bars again. I don't have any right now in the house. I think that would be a good thing to have on hand. It would keep me from buying food I don't need at work.
Yes, I have some recommendations for you.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode. If you like us, rate, review, follow, and tell a friend.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com and tell us something you liked about Happier and Happier in Hollywood this week.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
And we also want to give a special shout out to Gretchen Rubin, Liz Kraft, and Sarah Fain for inspiring our conversation each week.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com, where you can find our show notes too. All right, Azizi, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Malika.
Bye.
Bye.
So I think I didn't come up with these categories.
Okay. All right. Full disclosure, you said that at the top.
Full disclosure again, this is not my philosophy.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.